どうした
Jitsuwa Kaidan. True scary stories. From the title alone, you know what you're getting into here, and this game is certainly different to others I've reviewed on this channel so far. Mostly because, well, this is essentially a visual novel with zero choices to be made. Let's take a look. Jitsuwa Kaidan was released for the PSP on July 28th, 2005. That's only a few short weeks before I moved to Japan. Love making myself feel old. It labels itself as a part of the Kaidan Taikan genre, meaning scary story experiences. That's pretty much what you're in for here. It's part of the Shin Mimibukuro series, so if you've ever seen any of those TV specials or movies, then you know exactly what to expect here. I do mean that literally, because many of these stories are simply recycled from that series, so you may have literally seen them before. There are 50 stories in total that will be selected randomly. You can answer a few questions before each story to help narrow the choice down, but in general, they're pretty random. This doesn't really matter because the stories won't repeat until you've seen all 50 anyway. And once you've finished all 50 stories, the game unlocks a special bonus story that is pretty much a 10-minute short film with actual actors and such. Neat. Now, calling this a game feels to be a bit of a stretch. This is pretty much as passive as any game can get. If the question choices before the stories weren't there, then you really wouldn't have any interaction with this game at all, other than pressing the button to keep the story moving. Yes, it's just like every other visual novel in that regard, but it's also one of those types that doesn't have a single choice across all 50 stories. These are straight short stories. Just read and press the button to proceed. But having said that, I also don't think that's a problem. That's literally the reason for this game's existence. It's the Shin Mimibukuro series, but on a handheld console. You have 50 short stories you can carry with you on the way to school or work, or for a quick break during the day or evening when you want something to break the monotony of your day and maybe give you a quick thrill. The game is designed perfectly for the PSP and its handheld nature. They knew that the majority of people buying this would probably be listening to a story or two on their commute to work or school, and so the story lengths reflect that. Most are around 5 minutes in length, with only a rare few going over the 10-minute mark. That means you can finish the entire game, all 50 stories, in about 4 hours, give or take. Not terribly long, but this isn't an RPG or survival horror. It's a sit and lose yourself in a scary story for 5 minutes game, and nothing more. And considering what it is, the quality is rather high. The entire game is voice acted, with stories alternating between a male and female voice, both of whom are extremely pleasant to listen to. They read the stories perfectly and capture the mood each and every time. The stories also come fully illustrated, or perhaps I should say, fully photographed. There are photos of real people and places used here, generally changing every couple of text screens, so you're never bored looking at the same thing. And some of the images you get are truly creepy. Sometimes you even get full motion video, which is always a treat as well. The quality of the stories varies, as you would expect with 50 on display. For me personally, there were very few duds, which was nice to see when you have so many stories on the board, but considering how subjective horror is, your mileage will vary, of course. You'll find the usual suspects here. Plenty of vengeful ghosts, haunted apartments, angry old ladies, creepy little children, abandoned buildings, cursed objects, supernatural beings, familiar urban legends, tales you've likely never heard of before, and much more. The variety is astounding, and I applaud them for that. The game was also rated 15 and over in Japan, so while it never gets especially gory or obscene, it does sometimes deal with dark and uncomfortable matters. My favourite stories from this collection would probably be Black Bicycle, if only for the hilarious bit at the end with the little girl chitting-chittinging her bicycle all over the title. Although, this is apparently an RNG thing that randomly occurs at the end of some stories, so whether you'll get a neat bit like this at the end or not isn't guaranteed. I also enjoyed Angel, which was just, well, shocking. Angel is the shortest story of the bunch, coming in at about 2 minutes, but well, it certainly has an impact. Ha! Go watch it. You'll understand. Which brings me to my final point. No, this game hasn't ever been officially translated and released in English, which is a pity. Considering that the game is now 17 years old and on a long dead system, you're more likely to win the lotto than you are to see an official translation. But I have played through the entire game right here on this channel, so I'll leave a link to the playlist in the description if you want to check the stories out. They're all fully subbed in English, so if you haven't checked them out yet, please feel free to do so. If you're learning Japanese and still have a PSP on hand, then you could certainly do worse than using this as a study aid. The narrators speak clearly and concisely, and the text appears on screen at the same time, allowing you to practice both listening and reading. The stories are also short, like I said, so you don't have to get bogged down in a massive novel, and the language in general isn't very difficult. Plus, if you have an interest in horror, which I assume you do if you're here, then you'll learn a lot of horror-related vocabulary as well. There are certainly worse ways you could spend your study time, and thankfully, this game is rather cheap these days to pick up second-hand as well. So yeah, do you like short, scary stories? Do you want some frightening tales that are fully voiced and illustrated, with the occasional full-motion video to boot? Then you really can't go past Jitsuwa Kaidan, Shin Mimibukuro. If there are any downsides to it, it would be that there's no auto button to allow the stories to proceed without your intervention, but that's a minor thing overall. And, I suppose, how hard it is to buy actual PSPs and games these days. But what did you guys think of this one? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you again next time. チリンチリン